So without wasting time, because we have a lot of things to cover today, so let's quickly get started. So yes, hello everyone, I'm Soham Mukherjee. I'm a software developer at Google. Before that, I worked for 1 year with Code Nation, and I've been an intern at okay, thanks Neeraj. I've been an intern at Disha and CodeShip, and I have been into ACM ICPC regionals in 2017 and 19. And I'm also a 6-star coder at CodeShip. So what will I be teaching you? I'll be teaching you web backend, React.js, system design, cloud services, data structures, and algorithms. Now, for the past few days, I have been promoting, and in fact, today also I'll be promoting Relevel. But many of you might be worried, hey, what type of questions will we get on Relevel, or will I be able to solve it on those things, right? So if you want sample questions, right, if you want to get a free sample test, in that case, you can use my coupon Soham10, and you will get a free sample Relevel paper. So just you can just try your skills out on there, and you will get an idea about what type of questions will be asked and those things, so that you are well prepared before your Relevel examination. Now, talking about Relevel, now what is Relevel actually, and why is Relevel useful? So I know many people who are facing problems getting job opportunities, basically because either they are not from the proper degree background, like they don't have the proper degrees needed for that job, or they do not have proper connections in their network. Is this a hard question necessary for backend development? Hard question depends on the company, right? Like there are many companies who hire for like, I'm not sure if you are talking with respect to job point of view, or you're talking about backend development. For development, you generally do not need data structures, algorithms as such, until and unless you are actually developing some algorithm that will solve some problem, and you can then make an API out of it. But if you're talking about a job role, then yes, DSA hard question is not needed, but data structure algorithms is needed in most of the cases. Anyway, so what is Relevel? So many people actually face problems because they're not from proper degree background, and they don't have the proper degree, or they don't have proper connections. So if you're such a candidate, then Relevel is the perfect product for you. What is Relevel? Relevel is India's first test hiring platform by Unacademy that will help you find your job. Now you will get the job based on your skills, and no longer it doesn't matter whether you have proper degree or proper connections. If you have the skills, you will get the job. So what are the benefits of taking the Relevel test? There are over 50 plus companies, including top startups and unicorns, who are hiring through Relevel. For example, there is Code Nation, there is TopUp, there is Zoomcar, there is Trade. These are top unicorns, right? These are top startups, and they're hiring through Relevel. So you can get an opportunity in those companies. There are over 1,000 plus job positions across business development, front-end development, and back-end development. So these are the only 3 domains that are supported right now. You might think that the process is cumbersome. That's not the case. The process will take only 1 day to complete. Like, you will have to, there will be multiple rounds of test, but you can complete the entire test within 1 day, right? So and you will be given the results within 1 week. So the process is pretty fast actually. And with Relevel, the best part is the companies will be approaching you to you, and not the other way around. Now, registration with Relevel is very easy. You can go to the Relevel site. The link is in the description below. You can check it out. Once you reach the site, you can click on get hired. After that, you can select a test of your choice. Let's say we want to go for backend development test, so we'll click on backend development test. Then book a test slot. Now make sure you pick a perfect slot for you, and you're free for the entire day, because there will be multiple rounds and you have to complete all the tests within 1 day. So make sure you pick the perfect slot. Also make sure you book the slots fast, because others might take up your slots. So once you pick the slot, you have to create a neat video resume. Now this part is crucial, because this is the first impression any company will have on you, right? So if you do not create a neat video resume with perfect background, or you are not properly groomed, or there is not proper lighting, then the company will think that you are not interested, so they might not actually hire you, right? Even if you have good scores. So after that, click on submit and confirm your slots for the test. So make sure to check out Relevel. The link is in the description below. And if you want to get a free sample paper, as I've said, you can use the coupon code Soham10, and you will get a free sample paper about how the Relevel test will look like, right? So you can check that out as well. Now, if you're liking the content, make sure you press the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, you share with your friends, because it might help them as well. And once you subscribe to the channel, you should press the bell icon, because you will be notified whenever I come live. Also, if you are not using YouTube regularly, then you can join Telegram group, where it will be notified whenever I'll be coming live and what is the topic I'll be taking. So everything will be given to you on the Telegram channel, so do join that as well. Okay, what type of DSA is necessary in developing algorithm and making APIs? What type of DSA is necessary? Okay, it completely depends on what type of work you are doing. I'll give a very easy example, right? For example, I don't know if you have watched the TV series. There's a TV series called Silicon Valley, right? Where the protagonist, basically, they developed a compression algorithm. So compression algorithm might be like similar to a DSA question, like how do you compress a large file. You might actually develop some algorithm on top of that. Or there might be some other forms of algorithms, like there might be some machine learning algorithm, like you might optimize the image segmentation process and those things, and make it available on top of API. So it completely depends on what work you are doing. Or another example can be the Google Maps, right? Let's say you want to find the shortest route between two places, so you might actually use some algorithm. You might optimize, like obviously Google Map doesn't actually run on Dijkstra's algorithm and those things. Those are like kind of deterministic, and Google Maps is a probabilistic algorithm. So you can actually develop on top of that. Maybe like you find a better probabilistic algorithm of finding the shortest route, and you might make it available as an API, right? So that kind of algorithm is what I'm talking about. So it completely depends on what you want to do. But again, like if you want to it's obviously it's good to know the data structure algorithms, because it will not only help you with developing some APIs that are related to your algorithm, but also it will help you optimize many things, right? I'll give an example here, maybe. So I'm not sure if you have heard of the term persistent data structures, right? Or if you have heard of B plus and B minus trees. So B plus and B minus trees is a data structure. It is a tree-like data structure, and it is used for databases. It is used for relational databases. So similar to that, like if you are building an application, you can optimize it with some data structure. So I'll actually share one experience here. Like I have worked on a project that was involved with visualizing dependencies of applications, right? So visualizing dependencies of applications, and there the hierarchy or the way the application dependency was formed, it was kind of a directed acyclic graph. So I used DAG algorithms, like SCCs and let's say topological sorting and those things, for optimizing the results, right? For making queries faster, or making operations faster. So it's always good to know data, like the DSA, because you might be able to use it in some places. Yeah, so it's obviously it's good to know, because it can be used for optimizations. But again, like let's say you want to find the results of 100 students, so for that you won't actually use a segment tree, right? First 100 students, you won't use a segment tree. You would maybe like just run a loop and get the result. So it's not always true that you will be using the proper algorithms. But again, like most of the times, like in many cases, actually you can use proper algorithms whenever, like let's say your application is taking a lot of time to run. So you might optimize that using some algorithms that you know. Another example can be like sorting. Sorting is the algorithm, right? So there are multiple sorting algorithms available. There is bubble sort, there is merge sort, there is quick sort. So generally merge sort and quick sort are faster variants. So let's say you want to sort student records, right? So you would rather use like the internal implementation. Obviously it's better to use the internal implementation, but let's say the internal implementation is not available. So it's better that you will create a function, a sorting function, which will sort the results, and you will use that thing. Can't we learn in the company itself? Yes, obviously you can learn. Like when you join a company, you will be given some time to learn how to work there, or what are the technologies they use, the tech stack, and also those things. So generally every company has that, but that time time frame differs from company to company. Like some companies will give you 1 week to learn everything, all the tech stack. Some companies will give you 1 month. Some companies will give you maybe more like 3 months or so to ramp up generally. So it completely depends on company to company. All right. Okay, so let's start with our agenda for today. So I'll go to my ID quickly. Let me know if you have any other questions. All right, we are back here. So here what I've done is I've actually installed Python. Like if you remember, I was using Python 3.9, but I've installed Python 3.10, and I've also added it to the path. So when you install Python, right, you will get an option to add it to the path. You should select that. In case you forget selecting that, you can just Google it up, like how to add to the path, how to add Python to the path. And if you add to the path, what will happen, like if you remember in the last day we were unable to use Python from the command line, right? Like we had it in we configured our our PyCharm with that interpreter, but we were unable to use Python from the command line. So right now see that I can use Python from the command line. That is because I've configured the path of the Python. So now Python is a valid command, right? So you can but whenever you install, you will get a way to like add it to the path. So be careful about that. All right. So we have installed Python 10. If you see, we have installed Python 3.10. We were using Python 3.9. From now we'll be using Python 3.10. Now one more thing, if you, let's say if you install Python, like if you install another variant of Python, how to actually configure that, you can come to settings. Under settings, you will get this thing. Let me just minimize a bit. Okay, now under settings you will get something like this, that there will be options like this. Go to project Python 101. Under that you will get a Python interpreter, right? So go to Python interpreter, and here you can select, like you can select the Python interpreter, like you can add, or you can have a list and show all and do those things, and select the Python interpreter like which you have, right? So this is how you can configure. And in fact we'll be configuring the Python interpreter today itself, once we learn about virtual environments. So yeah, like before that, let's actually continue with our whatever we were doing. So where we left, we learned about loops, right? We have learned about loops, how to write for loops and how to write while loops. Now today we'll be learning a bit about functions, and then we'll quickly move to like how to import files and how to install modules and those things, right? Install libraries and those things, and virtual environments as well. So what is a function? So often, like just imagine, like you are doing a task repeatedly, right? You are doing a task repeatedly. Let's say what can be such a task that you are doing repeatedly? Let's say given a student maybe some depth. So let's assume that you are adding two numbers, right? Addition is actually not a very good example here. Like addition is just a one line thingy, but let's say there is 50 lines of code and you are doing that task repeatedly, right? 50 lines of code and you are doing the task repeatedly. It might be like anything. It might be like downloading a file, or it might be like, let's say you have an Excel sheet and you are modifying that Excel sheet, or anything else, right? Like you are writing in a file or reading from a file and those things, right? So you have some task and you are doing the task repeatedly, let's say multiple times, and that the task is like to do that task. Let's say we are downloading a file, right? And we are downloading 100 files. Let's say we are downloading 100 files. I've completed learning DSA, but also find difficult in solving DSA problems. How to become good at it? The only way to become good at DSA is by practicing more and more. So yes, that's, and also like there are many like you can actually go through the classes of DSA. Like I'll be also taking a few DSA classes. Most likely I'll be teaching dynamic programming this Saturday. I'm not sure, but yeah, like most likely I'll be teaching dynamic programming this Saturday. So you can join in, like if you are facing problems with dynamic programming. But yes, like you can look into other classes as well that are there on DSA, or you can the best way to learn DSA, I would say, is practicing and reading up materials, right? Or attend like that. Like there's no other alternative. And the more you practice, the better you get. There is no other alternative to DSA. All right, so like any other thing, like for anything, the best way to learn it is by practicing or doing it yourself, right? So it's true for anything, be it development, be it DSA, it's true for everything. So yes, so you have we have this, right? So we have this so what we want to do is, we have a, let's say we want to download a file. So we have a piece of code that will download a file. Let's say the code is like, let's say 10 lines long, right? There is a 10 lines long code that will help us download a file, although it will not take that much time, but yeah, let's assume that. So you are downloading multiple files, or you are downloading files again and again, right? In multiple steps. So instead of writing the code multiple times, what you can do is, you can create a function out of that code, right? You can create a function out of that code where that downloading code goes in, and you can call that function repeatedly. So what does functions help us with? First is, it helps us preventing redundant code. Like, we had to write the code for downloading a file multiple times or uploading a file multiple times, right? Instead of that, what we will do is, we'll create a function. So only we have to call the function every time. Every time we want to download a file, we will have to just call that function. Every time we want to upload a file, we have to call that function, right? So function is a piece of code. Function is a piece of code that does something. It is just a piece of code that will do something for you. Now, the function itself generally does not have any meaning unless you call it. When you call it, the function is executed, and whatever it is supposed to do, it will do that. Okay, so let's consider the downloading example. So that you create a download function, right? Unless you call that download function, unless you use that download function, it will not do anything, right? It does not have any meaning. Once you call that download function, it will start downloading files. It will do whatever it is supposed to do, right? It is supposed to download files, so it will download the files. So that's the purpose of functions. It will help you. So first thing is, it helps us preventing rewriting code again and again. So if you are rewriting some piece of code again and again, maybe it's better to place it into a function and call that function instead of rewriting the code again and again. First point. Second is, it helps us breaking down logic, or breaking down a big code into smaller chunks. So let's say you have 1,000 lines of code, right? You have 1,000 lines of code written together. Which one is easier to understand? If you have 1,000 lines of code, is it easier to understand, or you have, let's say, 100 lines of code broken down into multiple functions? Each function does something. Which one is easier to understand? Obviously the one which is broken down into multiple functions, because at a time you just have to understand 100 lines of code. Otherwise, if you don't break it down into functions, you have to understand 1,000 lines of code. So functions help you logically break the code into multiple segments, right? Into multiple logical segments. So basically, that is a function. A function is what? What is a function? A function is a piece of code. A function is a piece of code that has the responsibility to do something. A function is a piece of code that has the responsibility to do something, right? So let's actually see how to write functions in Python. Now, to write functions in Python, you have to use the def keyword. Def tells that this is a function. This def keyword tells that this is a function. Now each function will have a name, because when you call the function, how would you call the function? Let's say there are 10 functions. How would you call each function? There should be a way to identify which function you are calling. That is the name of the function. Okay, so that is the name of the function. So Chandra Kumar, I'll be taking up DSA. Like, if you have these questions, I'll be taking up them at the end of the class, because this is actually breaking the pace I'm going at. So in case if you have some doubts on whatever I'm teaching right now, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, whatever DSA doubts you have, I'll be taking it at the end of the class. I think it's fine. All right. So def, right? So def is the keyword that will help you. Define a function. So it tells that this is a function. Now each function has some name. Now generally, when you write the name of a function, make it meaningful, right? Make it meaningful with the fact that what is the purpose of this function. Let's say a function is there that will help you download a file. So you should name it similar to download a file or download something. If a function's purpose is to upload a file, write the name similarly, so that by seeing the name one understands what is the purpose of this function. It's not, yes, you can write the function name as if, right? You can write the function name as if, you can write the function name as a, b, c, d. But if I write the function name as if, how would you understand what is the purpose of this function? So a good coding practice is that write a meaningful name of the function based on what is the purpose of this function. All right. No need to tell sorry, it's completely fine. But what I'm saying is I'll take that at the end of the class. All right. So the name of the function should be a meaningful one. Now let's say what is the purpose? Let's say I want to add two numbers, right? I want to write a function that will add three numbers. Let's say it will add three numbers. So add, or let's say first let's not add. Let's not do that. First, let's say I'll write a function that will print something to the console. It will print a message to the console. So what can be the function name? The function name can be print message. This is a valid function name because it kind of tells, when you see the function name, you kind of get an idea that this function is responsible for printing something, printing a message. You kind of get that idea. So this is a good function name. What is a bad function name? A bad function name is XYZ. Like you don't get any idea what is the purpose of this function. Why is this function there, right? So make sure to write proper function names. So print message. So I have a function that will have print message. Now after the function name, first we have the def, right? Def tells that this is a function. Def tells that this is a function definition that we are writing. Sorry. After that, the function names come in. What is the function name? Function name is kind of an identifier to the function. Like when you call the function, you should be able to identify which function you are calling. So the function name kind of acts as an identifier. How do you identify a function? Print message. Now after that, a set of brackets come in. Now we will discuss more about the brackets later on, like what will come inside this bracket. But just remember that this is the syntax. Like after the function name, a pair of brackets will come in, opening and closing bracket. Now after that, a colon comes in, right? Now yesterday we talked about how when to indent, right? We talked about indentations. Now whenever a piece of code goes inside something, we indent it, right? So, and we end it with a colon. Like if you remember the if statement, or if you remember the for statement, we ended with a colon, and inside that we indented the code so that we know that this code goes inside the if statement. Similarly, for a function also, we'll end with a colon and we'll indent the code. This part of this piece of code, whatever is indented, that will go inside the function, right? So now the function will print a message, right? So let's print a message here. Print hello, I am inside function. Hello, I am inside function. It prints a message, hello, I am inside function. So let's say this is a function definition that I've created. Whatever I've created here, this is called the function definition, right? This is called the function definition. Now the function is not automatically executed. A function like it is just there, right? It is a definition. It is not automatically. Yes, indentation is 4 spaces. A tab or a 4 spaces. Its tab is equals to 4 spaces, so it's a tab or 4 spaces. So print message. Now this function does not have a meaning of its own, right? It is just a definition that I've created. I'm telling that this is the definition of the function. To use the function, to use the functionality, whatever it is supposed to do, to use that, I have to call the function, right? I have to call the function. How do we call the function? We call the function like this. We just use the name, print message, and we call it like this. We just call the function like this with the name and followed by the bracket. Followed by the bracket, we just call this, right? 1 second, there are multiple branches. Yes. So print message. This is how we call the function, right? This is how we call the function. Let's run this code. See, it is running hello, I am inside function. What is happening? Let's understand the flow. The code first, it doesn't come here. The execution doesn't start from here. It starts from here. It starts from here. It sees that, okay, there is a print message function being called. Now it sees where is the definition of print message. It finds that the definition of print message is here. So the control jumps here. It then comes inside the print message. It executes this line, hello, I am inside function. Once this function ends, it comes back here, right? So to understand this better, let's add a print statement here. Print before function, print before function, and let's write a here after function. Okay, so we have two print statements, right? Now see, the print message function, it is coming before, this is coming before this before function print, right? So the order, let's see the order, right? So if you see the order, first before function is called, after that hello I am inside function is printed, after this after function is printed, right? So what is the execution? Is it good that practice, it is a good practice to learn front end and back end simultaneously? Yes, obviously it's a good thing. You are not wasting your time, right? If you can learn two things together, why won't you learn that? It's not, there's no point of spending an entire day learning one thing. If you can learn 10 things, you will learn 10 things, right? And also it's boring. Like let's say you are learning only one thing in a complete day. After 2 hours you will feel bored, because, or after 3 hours you will feel bored because you are doing the same thing, right? So obviously it's better to change and learn, because that way you are learning more things, you are not getting bored, so you're not wasting your time. So obviously it's a good practice. The print before function comes in. After this, so the control comes here directly. It starts execution from here, right? It starts execution from here. After that it goes here. After that it goes here. It sees that there is a print function being called. So it goes to the definition of print function. It goes to the body. Now this is executed. Print hello I am inside function. Once the print function method is completed, or function execution is completed, the control comes back to the next line. Now the next line is this one, so it starts execution from here. So this is how a function gets executed. Is it clear with everyone? Why before will come first? Before will come first because this is just a function definition. The execution always starts from the global scope or the main scope. So this is the global scope, right? This is at a global level. It is not inside a function. It is called the global scope or the main scope. The execution always starts from the main scope. So it will always start from here. It will always start from here. The functions, there might be function definitions before, it will ignore those things. It will always start execution from the global or the main scope. So this is the main scope that is there. So this is the starting of the global or the main scope. So it starts from here. Execution always will start from here. All right. Basically, a easier way to understand this is the execution will always start from the line which is from either it has zero indentation, like this, it has no indentation, right? So it will start execution from the first line with zero indentation. In some cases there might be indentation. How? Generally the main scope, we define the main scope like this: if name equal to main, we define the main scope like this as well, right? If name equals to main, and inside this we enter. So it will always start at the main scope. In this case it will always, we know that this is the main scope, right? We know that this is the main scope. So in this case it is obviously starting from this, execution is starting from this point. So first this is executed, after this is executed, after this is executed. If this is not given, so basically everything is in global scope. So it will start execution from the first line with no indentation. From the first line with no indentation. Which is the first line with no indentation? This one, right? So it will start from this line. Is it clear, Piyush? Bhushan Power, Rob as a fresher. See, I cannot tell you that if you do my course you will get a job. It completely depends on how much effort you are putting in, right? But obviously I can guarantee you this: if you are following the course, like if you're coming every day, if you're not coming every day also, if you're watching all the videos, then I can guarantee you that you will learn something, and that will help you eventually in the interviews or in the company as a developer. I can guarantee this thing to you, but I cannot guarantee you that it will help you. Like if you are not working hard, again, like it's up to you if you want to work hard or not. So I cannot guarantee you on that, right? Okay, so this is how a function is executed, right? This is how that's why before function is called first, after that print message is called. So print message, we see where is the definition. The control comes here, it checks where is the definition, it finds the definition here. So the control first, this is executed, the control was here. So see, control was here first, after this it goes here, it sees that there is a function call, so it checks where is the function definition. So the control shifts to the function definition, it executes the function, it is executing the function. Now see, the function is ending after this, right? The function is ending here, so it comes back to the line after the function call. So the function call was here, it comes after this line, so it comes here. Okay, so this is how the function, that's why before function is called, before, after that hello I am inside function gets called, after that after function is called. So this is a function, this is how we write a function. Now I was telling about the square brackets, right? What is this square brackets for? It is for passing. Let's see, what does this function do? This function, you are just calling the function, it is doing something, but often functions are not designed to be like that, right? Because you might need to pass some data to the function for the function to process, right? Like let's say you want to add two numbers, right? You want to add two numbers, so you have to pass in two numbers, right? The function, otherwise if you're, so let's say I create a function, so I can create multiple functions like this. So def add two numbers, this function will be adding two numbers, right? Now if I don't pass any data inside the function, it will always add the same set of numbers, right? So it will always add, let's say it is adding 2 plus 3. So in this case it will always be adding 2 plus 3, but we don't want that. We want to pass a data, that is the two numbers which we want to add, right? We should be able to pass the data which we want to add, the two numbers which we want to add, and in return when we call the function, we should be getting the summation of those two numbers or the addition of those two numbers, right? We should be able to get that. So how to pass that information? We can pass that information using something called parameters. Now what are parameters? Parameters are, you specify parameters like this. These are the input that a function takes. This parameter is an input, or argument is an input that a function takes. Now there are two words that I've used, two things that I've used here. The word parameter and the word argument. Are they same? Can you use them interchangeably? Actually it's a bit confusing here. Like many of you might think that parameters and arguments can be used interchangeably, but it's not like that. So AB, right? AB, I write parameters like this. Whenever we write the variables in the function definition, function. So whenever we write AB here inside the brackets, this becomes the parameter. What is a parameter? A parameter is the input that the function expects when it is called. A parameter is the input that the function expects when it is called, right? Like addition of two numbers, it will expect two numbers to be passed to it. Addition of two numbers will expect two numbers to be passed to it. Now that is a parameter. What is the parameter again? It is the input that a function expects. It is the input that a function expects. So it will take in two numbers as input and it will add them, right? Now we also expect a output from the function, that is the addition of the two numbers. We want it to be returned by the function. Like whenever we call the function, we want the function to give to us the addition of the two numbers that we pass in, right? We want that from the function. So a function also has a return statement, right? Basically whenever a function might have a return statement, it might not have a, like in this example, we didn't expect the function to return us anything. We didn't expect any value out of the function. We didn't expect any output out of the function, right? So that's why it didn't return anything. But in addition of two numbers, we are expecting that the function would return to us the summation of the two numbers. So that a function can also return some values. Okay, so how do we return values? We return values with the return keyword, return, and then whatever you want to return from the function. So what do we want to return? We want the summation of the two integers. So what are the integers? A and B, right? We want to return the summation of A and B. So A plus B, return A plus B. We'll write this. So what does it do? This is a function. See, again, this is a function that takes in two arguments, two parameters. Sorry, it will take in two arguments. The parameters are corresponding parameters are A and B. What are A and B? Parameters are basically the inputs that you have to provide to the function. Parameters are the inputs that you have to provide to the function. So A and B, it is expecting two inputs, A and B. So you have to provide these two inputs to the function. Then a function can also have a return statement. What is the return statement? What do we expect from the function? What do we expect out of the function? So that is the return statement of a function. So return A plus B, that tells that, hey, we are expecting the summation of the two numbers from the function. So it is returned from the function. Now how to call these functions like this? When we see this function expects two input, right? We have already told it has two parameters A, B. So it is expecting two inputs. So whenever we call such functions, add two numbers, we have to pass in arguments. Now parameters, again, parameters are what is there in the definition. Parameters are what is there in the function definition. Arguments are what are the actual values that you pass to the function. What are the actual values that you pass to the function? Those are the arguments. Okay, sorry. So parameters are what is there in the function definition. Argument is what is the value that you pass into the function. So two numbers, let's say we want to add 3 and 4. So we pass in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 becomes the arguments. Now the order of the argument matters, right? Order of the argument matters. 3, this is assigned to the first parameter A. A becomes 3. 4 is assigned to the second argument, that is B. Second parameter B. So B becomes 4. Here which is parameter, which is argument? Parameters is A, B. In the function definition, we write the parameters. Definition, ये function definition है ना? ये तो function definition है, right? Function definition पे हम जो variables लिखेंगे, these are variables. See, A and B are variables. They do not have values. This is basically the variables are expecting values when the function is called. जब function को हम call करेंगे तब हम लोग ये values को pass करेंगे. तो ये variables है. ये variables को हम parameters बोलेंगे. When we actually pass value to the function, that is the arguments. इधर हम लोग जब function call कर रहे हैं हम लोग 3, 4 pass कर रहे हैं. तो ये 3, 4 जो है ये argument है that we are passing to the function. ठीक है? तो ये जो 3, 4 है इसका order भी matter करेगा. तो order जो है 3, first 3 will get assigned to A, 4 will get assigned to B, 3 gets assigned to A, 4 gets assigned to B. तो अगर हम लोग 4, 3 लिखेंगे ना, अगर हम लोग 4, 3 लिखेंगे, सॉरी 4, 3 लिखेंगे तो उल्टा होगा. A will become 4, B will become 3. Remember this, A will become 4, B will become 3. So the order in which the arguments are passed, they are accordingly assigned to the parameters. So add two numbers. Now see, this add two numbers is returning a value, right? It is returning a value. So we can store that value in some variable result. Let's call the variable result. We can store the value. What happens here? The control comes here. The control comes here. It says result equals to, okay. On the right hand side, it sees the function call. So the control jumps to the function. Add two numbers. A becomes 4, B becomes 3. A becomes 4, B becomes 3. चलो इसको एक्सप्लेन करते हैं अच्छे से. एक सेकेंड. Can we pass value at runtime? Yes, we can pass value at runtime as well. 1 second. एक सेकेंड देना बस. ओके, इसको एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, ठीक है? डू लेते हैं. चलो पहले this line is executed. ये सब functions है. These are functions, right? So the function, so the execution of a program always starts at the main scope or the global scope. Program execution always starts at main scope or global scope. So it will start from here, like this line number 11. Before function is printed. After that, it goes to line number 12. Print message, it calls this function. The control is shifted here now. The control is shifted here to print message. Now it comes here to the definition. It sees hello. It prints this line. Next, it comes to the next line. It sees that the function has ended. So it comes back here. It comes back to the next line to the function. So from here, the control shifts back to this line. Okay. Control shifts back to this line. Okay, let me clear everything now. Now the control comes here to this line. Result, add two numbers. It sees that on the right hand side, there is a add two numbers getting called. Now it is a function getting called. So the control again shifts from here to here. Okay, to this definition. Now what is A? We pass in 4, right? So A becomes 4. What is B? We pass in 3. So B becomes 3. Okay. फिर next line पे आएगा return A plus B. Return A plus B. So it will return now. It will return. The control was shifting, right? Either say it saw that the function ended, so the control shifted. Now when the control will shift, it will also bring a value with it. So return A plus B. What is A plus B? A is 4, B is 3. So return 4 plus 3, that is 7. So return 7 is there, right? So return 7 means the control shifts back here, it brings back 7. It brings back the value 7 with it. So this function call, this gets replaced with 7. So what does this statement read now? The statement reads like result equals to 7. So the variable results gets the value 7. The variable result gets the value 7. Okay. So now the result has a value of 7. Now we can print sum is and the result, right? Let's execute this. See, first before function is called, because execution will start from here. After that, print message is obtained. So it will print hello, I am inside function, this one. After that, result equals to add two numbers. So we saw that result becomes 7. So print this print statement is executed. Sum is result. What is result? 7. So sum is 7 is executed. After function, after this line is executed. Return result के बाद why we use result variable. We might skip result variable altogether just to explain that we can use variables like this to store the values that is returned by a function. Okay, sir, return result के बाद भी लिख सकते हैं क्या? Return result के बाद भी लिख सकते हैं क्या? मैं समझा नहीं. Return तो function पे है ना? Return तो function पे है. Are you asking that if the function can be written after the this thing? After this thing, can we write the function? Is it what you are asking, Piyush? Like, are you asking this thing? Wait, are you asking this thing? Are you asking this thing? Like, if that's what you are asking, then you cannot, because you see there is an error. So whenever you use a function, see, whenever you use a function, you have to define the function before using it. Otherwise, the compiler will not know where the definition is. See, it is executing line by line, right? It is executing line by line. So it will not know where is the definition of this. So you should always define a function before using it. You should always define a function before using it. Okay. Always define a function before using it. So this is a function, right? This is a function. Now, in this function, okay, let's do one more function. Def. Now we want to do a subtract two numbers. A, B. return a minus b. Return a minus b. Okay, now I was talking about the order, right? I was talking about the order of the parameters, and also Bhushan, you were talking that we don't, why are we using this result, right? So we don't need this. In this example, we'll not use. We can directly use the print statement. Difference is we can directly call the function here as well, right? We can directly call the function here as well. We do not need this intermediate result. But if you want to like do something with this summation value, it's better to store it in another variable, right? It's better to store it. So subtract two numbers. I will write here 7 and 2. I'll write here 7 and 2, and I'll also do one more line, print differences and subtract two numbers, and I'll write here 2 and 7. The output of both of them will be different. The output for both of them will be different. So difference is 5c. 7 minus 2 is 5. We are doing a minus b, right? So a becomes 7, b becomes 2. In the first case, a becomes 7, b becomes 2. So 7 minus 2 is 5. So difference is 5 in the first case. Second case, difference 2 minus 7. 2 minus 7, that is minus 5. So difference is minus 5. So the order in which the arguments are passed, that also matters. Chandan Kumar, how many days the basics will be taught? I am expecting, what do you mean by basics? Like the Python course, I am expecting it to be around 7 days. Like we have already done for 3 days. So today is the 3rd day, I believe. Yes, today is the 4th day, sorry. So we have already done it for 4 days. It will be for more like around 3-4 days. So after that, we will be starting with the database basics. We'll be learning about databases. We'll be learning about relational databases and the basics actually, not basics completely. We'll learn about databases, relational databases mostly. We'll be also looking into NoSQL and graph databases. So that's kind of the plan right now. So this will run for 7 to 8 days. The Python crash course total. And we are already done with like today we'll be done with 4 days. So difference, subtract two numbers 7 2 and 2 7. See, the result is different, right? So the order in which you pass the arguments, that also matters. Now the gap here matters in off-campus placement. It doesn't. Like it depends on company to company, but it generally doesn't. In some companies it doesn't. In some companies it might matter. So like it completely varies from company to company. Again, subtract. Also one more thing, like if you are good enough, see, if you are good enough, nothing will matter, right? CGPA will not matter, and those things, nothing will matter actually. If you are good enough, the company will obviously hire you. They will not even ask you why do you have a gap year and those things, unless it's a terrible company, obviously. So subtract two numbers 7 to 2 7. But if you want to avoid this, right? If you want to avoid this, what can you do is you can also specify what is A and what is B while passing the arguments. While passing the arguments, you can specify what is A and what is B. So we can specify that B is 2 and A is 7, right? So if I do like this, B is 2, A is equals to 7, that B, this parameter B should get 2, the parameter A should get 7. Now if I run this, the difference becomes, see, the difference becomes 5. Yes, I'll be giving more examples. Don't worry, I'll be giving more examples on functions. Okay, we'll be doing a lot of functions. Like our entire course will be based on functions. Functions will be a very important part of this entire course. So we'll be doing a lot of examples, and today also we'll do many more examples, right? So this is the basics of functions. I hope it is clear with everyone. Like what is a function, how to write a function, what is the return statement, what is the parameter, and these things. And how can you pass parameters, the order of the arguments and those things. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so we'll be writing a few more functions, but we will be not writing functions directly like this. What we will do is we will be writing functions in a different file. So for that we will be using some import statements, right? But before that, I want to talk to you. Okay, let's do that. So let's say it's obviously not a good idea. Let's say you are writing all the code in a single file. Like if you have looked into other projects, like if you have looked into someone's project, you will see that there are multiple files available. It's a very bad practice to write all the codes within one single file. Generally, one single file should be ideally 200, 300 lines long, not more than that. And if you are writing the entire project in a single file, it will it is very difficult to read as well, right? Readability decreases and those things. So it's better to segment out. It's better to segment out code into multiple files, right? Now, if you are segmenting out code into multiple files, there should be a way to access some data from other files into some other files. Let's say I create a new file here. What I'm trying to say, I'll explain this. Let's say I create a new file here. That will be a utility file, or let's call it a math file. Okay. Math functions. I'll create a new file called math functions, right? Math functions. It will call some mathematical functions. So it will contain some implementation of some mathematical functions, right? Let's say def, it will contain add. It will take in two integers and it will add them. So it will return a plus b. Okay. So this file will contain some implementations of mathematical functions. So add is one of them. Let's say multiply is there. Multiply is there. AB. Return a minus b. Okay, return a minus b. To give a better example, so we're gonna projects. Obviously, I'll cover projects. Development without project doesn't make sense. We'll be making a full stack application. We'll be making two projects. One minor project, one major project. In the minor project, it will be like once we are done with Django, we'll be doing the minor project that will only contain like database and Django. But after that, we'll do the major project, which will be a big project, and it will be including system architectures and those things. How to use cloud services to build large scale projects. Everything will be covered there. Okay. So def multiply a minus b. So it will contain something. So let's actually make a bit more complicated. So I'll be not explaining. See, I'll be not explaining the logic for this. You can. This is an algorithm that is available called the Euclid's algorithm. What does the Euclid's algorithm do? It basically. Or let's do one thing. Let's calculate. Let's do a brute force way only. Brute force way of power. Let's say we want to compute a to the power b. We want to compute a to the power b. We'll do a brute force way. We are not doing a fast exponential solution here. So result equals to 1 for I in range b. We have to multiply a b times, right? That is only a to the power b. So res into equals to a and return res. So basically this is a code that will help you compute a to the power b. It will help you compute a to the power b. See what I'm doing, I'm running a loop up to b and I'm multiplying a b times. So multiplying a b times will become a to the power b. So that is what I'm doing, right? Just a better example. Okay, so these are some mathematical functions that I have. Multiply is a into b. Multiply is a into b. Yes, sorry, my bad. Which idea am I using? I'm using PyCharm. PyCharm Community Edition. It's a free version, so you can also use it. It is there. So I'll go to main.py. Now, see, in this, I want to use these functions, right? I want to use these functions. How can I use them? We have the import statement. So we can import like this from, then the file name. The file name is math functions. File name is math functions, right? From math functions, let's say I want to import this power function. From math functions, import power. So this is how you import some function or some data from another file. From math functions, import power. So power is a function that is available in this math functions file. So first it's from, then the file name math functions, import power. Okay, now what can we do? Power. We can compute 2 to the power 3. What is 2 to the power 3? 2 into 2 into 2, that is 8, right? So let's see if it is giving 8. So we'll print this, right? So we'll print power 2 and 3. We'll print power 2 and 3. Let's execute this. See, it is giving us 8, right? It is giving us 8. So basically this is how you can import functions from other files. Not only functions, in fact, let's say I create a variable here. I create a variable here that is number equals to 20. So I can also import number here, number, right? So I can print number here as well, print number. So not only functions, but also you can import constants as well. Constants are variables basically. This is a constant value, so we can import constants as well, like this. So 20, see, 20 is printed. All right. Difference between import and using statement. Using is not there in Python, I believe. Is it there? I'm not sure. I don't think using is there. There is anything called using in Python. For Python, you have to use import. I think you are talking about some other language. Okay. So yes, it like in other languages there are different ways to import. Like in C++ there is hash include. In Java there is other way, like from Java also it's similar to this thing. From in JavaScript it's import this from this, like that. So there are different ways to import in different languages. Okay. So yes, that's how you can import, right? This is the idea of importing. Like you can separate out functions. Like we have created a beta function here, right? Power. In this, it is a long line. It is like 4 lines of code, right? Like let's say you want to compute power multiple times. So if you didn't break it down into function, power, we want to compute 3 to the power 2. We want to compute power, let's say power 5 to the power 2. These things, right? So if you didn't break it down into a function, you would have to write the code 3 times. This power code, that is this 4 lines of code, we had to write for 3 times. That would make a lot of redundancy, right? So that's not good. That's why we broke it down into a function. So this is a use case of function. See, and it is printing 925. It is working perfectly fine as well. So we have discussed about what are functions, and also how to actually write functions in different files and import from those files. We have also learned about the import statements, right? We have also learned about importing. Now the next thing that we'll talk about, we are almost towards the end of the class. We'll continue for 5 more minutes, and after that there is another class scheduled for today from 8:45. We'll be continuing there. Okay. So there's after this class, like we are almost towards the end, we'll continue for 5 more minutes, and after that we'll continue in that class. Okay. So print is there. Okay. Now often, like, it's not like that we will be implementing everything ourselves, right? We will not be implementing everything ourselves. There are some inbuilt functions that are available. There are some inbuilt things that are available. Okay. So we can actually look for the corresponding libraries, like, right, Python, some Python library. Let's look into some Python library, right? Python maths library. Let's find a Python maths library. Although there is one already available library, but we can look into some other ones if they are there. SymPy, right? Okay. So this is, I actually want to teach you something. That's why I'm doing this. Otherwise, I would have used the normal library only. So let's see if we have some, or let's see a random number generator library. Python, or let's see a encryption based library, maybe. Encryption library, Python encryption library. Okay. So Python encryption library, we see that there is a cryptographic services. Okay. So cryptographic services, we can use this hash algorithms, hashlib. Okay, hashlib is there. So can we import hashlib directly? Let's see if it is available. import Ashley. Okay, it's available, so we will not use this. We will use something else that is not available. Okay. By crypto. Maybe this is not available. Let's see. Import by crypto. Yes, it is not available. So let's install this, right? Let's install this. So we'll install by crypto, right? How do we install? So how to install this? We will have some command, obviously. So download by crypto, it is there, and I think we can just install like this by crypto. Pip install by crypto. Okay, it is there. By crypto is there. Okay, so we can use like pip. What is pip? Pip is a Python installation. So pip helps you with installing Python packages. What are packages? Basically libraries. Like someone else has implemented those things, and you want to use that. Like for example, PyCrypto. This is a cryptographic algorithm. Like this is a cryptographic module. Like some cryptographic functions are available are implemented by someone, and we want to use them in our project, right? So we don't want to implement them ourselves, so that's why we want to install these things, right? We want to include these things or install these things. So we have to install this package. We can install them using the pip. So whenever you install Python, pip is also installed with there. So how to install this? We can install this like this: pip install. So to see if pip is installed, you can write pip command, and you will see that you will get something like this, right? You will get a list of things that you can do with pip. So let's try that. So pip install PyCrypto. Pip install PyCrypto. So see, it is installing the package. It is installing the package, PyCrypto package. Okay, it has failed for some reason, maybe. Command exited with something. PyCrypto. Okay. Do we have available? Okay, let's see. Import PyCrypto. Okay, it is not available. Maybe it's breaking somewhere in Python 10. Not sure. Okay, it is for Python 10. Is it for Python 10? Not sure. Let's just copy and paste. Or we can use something else otherwise. Let's see if it is okay. It's not, it's failing for some reason. So we'll use something else. We'll find something else. Python, let's say random generator library. So let's see if we can get something good out of this. So random number library. It's just a tutorial. Okay, let's just install a very like basic one. We'll install image library, right? PIL library. So PIL, Python install PIL. So PIL is for image processing, right? PIL is for image processing. So we'll just install PIL, or we can just install NumPy. NumPy is also there. We can just install NumPy as well, or let's just install PIL. So Python install PIL, right? So we can just install PIL below. So we'll see that pip install pillow. So just let's install this like this. So pip install pillow, and let's wait for it to be installed. Okay, so it's done, it's installed. So now see, we can use the from PIL. If I write from PIL, I'll get this, right? I can now use the PIL, whatever is there, whatever methods are there in PIL, from PIL in image. So I can use whatever methods are there in the PIL library or the pillow library, because I've installed this, right? So that's what is package. What does libraries mean or packages mean? Packages are like when you use packages, they are implemented by someone else. Like PIL or this pillow, it is a very big library. It is maintained by someone else. It is created by someone else. It's a very big library for image processing, right? For processing images, for resizing and those things. It's a very big library, right? But you can also use it. Like to use it, obviously the person is creating it only, it is not for himself, it is for available for you as well, it is available to use as well, so that you can use. So that you can use, you can install it like this and use it, right? So that's about how can you install packages or libraries in Python. Okay, so let's end the class like this class here, and let's meet again in the 8:45 class, right? We'll continue from this part. Wherever we are leaving here, we'll continue from there. But before we leave, make sure to leave a like and also share with your friends, because this might help your friends as well. And also, if you are new to the channel, subscribe as well. All right, so see you in the 8:45 class, and make sure to join fast, okay? Because we'll be starting like just after the introduction, we'll start off as soon as possible. So make sure to join fast.